Morning, James. How
Morning,
are you,
Tom.
my friend?
It's nice to be out.
Well, we're going to discuss some Cheltenham stuff here. Should we get cracking? What do you want to start with?
Let's go, shall we?
Yeah.
Imperial Commander, a good jump. He's 3 legs clear.
Imperial Commander was one of my best, one of the ones I enjoyed most.
A new star, it's Denman who wins the Gold Cup.
For my favourite race, it would definitely be Denman, which was when he won his Gold Cup. And
I'm
again,
still ringing in my ears because I sat next to you while you were cheering at home.
I'm really looking forward to Envoy Allen.
Good luck with that one, in my opinion.
What are your earliest memories of Cheltenham?
20 years ago, what the memories of it was just fun.
Yeah.
I remember sitting around with the old tipsters in the old days in the Racing Post when we used to work at Rains Park. I used to go up to Henry Ricks and Mel Collier and say, this maker stand's a good thing for the... And they'd laugh at me, and then I'd have to watch them in lunch for the next 10 weeks telling me that, oh, he's the maker stand man. And when that won, that helped. That probably got me my job, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of horses that I kind of latched onto when I first started watching the festival were Florida Pearl. He was one of these great Irish hopes, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That he won the bumper, he won the Sun Alliance, and this was going to be the sort of Gold Cup horse. I don't know, you just sort of, you get attached to certain horses,
Yeah,
don't you? Because you follow them and you probably made a case for them. The first time I went was Isterbrack. He was never a horse I warmed to personally.
That's harsh. How can you not warm to Isterbrack?
He was just better than the others, but he wasn't... outstanding. Well, he was outstanding, but I don't know. There's something he never kind of did a Denman, you know, winning a big handicap. Or
I loved him. I thought it was a real shame that the way his career ended.
I think I'm a bookie. You see, we don't like these horses that keep winning champion hurdles, and I was the same with Best Mate, to be honest. I guess as a bookmaker, you're always looking: is there a chink in the armour?
Do you look back now and think? I mean, because I'm the same. Obviously, I'm trying to get Isterbrack and Best Mate meeting every time they run. Do you look back now and think, do you know what? I was a bit harsh on them. You know, I actually, if you look back in hindsight, sort of think back and say, do you know what? It was quite impressive what he did. And
I still don't think Best Mate was one of the greats. You know, in terms of how the pure ability of the horse. I think he was the first sort of target horse, wasn't he? Where
a bit like Album Photo, isn't it?
But that's what Mullins does now. Mullins is the new target man, isn't he? He will target all of those horses, whether it's Album Photo or really the novices. They're all winning, they're picking up the races, they're all winning at sort of even money and turning up at the festival.
So looking towards the Gold Cup, what would be your sort of feelings about it? You'll obviously be taking him on for the similar reasons. Album Photo, for the similar reasons of Best Mate. You're thinking that he's had an easy time of it and there's better horses up against him this year? I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
from my price
he's solid, isn't he? He's the one you know he's going to run his race, but is there one in there to beat him? I think there could be. Royal Pagal or something like that.
Not win Royal Pagal, will it?
Should we pick out another one?
Yeah, go for it. What you got there?
What have we got here? Can you recall some of the worst race results in your time as a coral trader? I can certainly recall a lot of terrible results. The one that sticks in my mind actually is Kavega. The first time she rocked up at the festival. I had it in my head that she was kind of a hype horse, that she was I call them a preview night horse. Every preview is Ruby Walsh.
Not the preview night.
Willie Mullins.
Make my money on the preview night circuit.
Yeah, Willie Mullins, Ruby Walsh, the world and his wife were telling us this is a certainty, this is the Irish banker of the festival. And I looked at the form and I sort of thought, really? You know, she's got beaten in 2 of her last 3 races. The level of form isn't that good. And I took quite, you know, a big view for the company against Kavega. And I wrote a column in the Racing Post at the time and I sort of said, this is just a hype horse. I used to write about the horse I wanted to lay on the day. And I was talking about Kavega being this hype horse and we went top price. And it was just, I got it completely wrong. Basically, she
won.
She won easily.
Vega's absolutely routed these and runs home clear. Ruby Walsh in the saddle.
Do you feel it personally, as in your job, or do you? How does it?
I think
resonate with you.
If you get a bad set of results, you know, there's nothing we can do about results. So I think over the years, it's something that takes a while to get used to. I think, but over the years, I've learned that if you just get Willie Mullins having 4 winners, say, at short price, there's nothing you can do about that.
No, I'll have a go.
I want to move on from Kavega.
Yeah, have a move. What race are you most looking forward to?
Well, for me, Definitely the Arkle. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's a great matchup, Shishkin, Energumen. There's a little bit, I know it's a different trip and the novices, there's a little bit of Corto Denman about it for me.
There is a bit, isn't there?
The Energumen, he's the sort of tank, if you like, over 2 miles. He's got to set the pace. And Shishkin is the kind of classy stalker. And I don't know what you thought, but in Shishkin's races so far, there's been a little point in each race where you sort of think, is he in a bit of trouble here? And then he's just kind of overwhelmed them.
My thing about Shishkin is I'm not sure he likes Cheltenham. And that sounds really weird. That sounds really weird because he won the Supreme last year, but I thought he was really unimpressive in winning the Supreme. I thought if there hadn't been all that carnage, I thought that helped him in a way.
Right, okay.
You know, he only got up on the line, and if you watch it again, Abacadabras is coming back at him at the line. Now, Abacadabras is a good horse who I think will run one in the Champion Hurdle.
I thought he could be.
I like the first round. I've always liked the Supreme. I like the Supreme and the Gold Cup. I love it. I think there's loads of horses in there with a chance. I'm not a great Appreciate fan. No, I just think last time. I think last time, you know, he had the sort of a freebie out the front. In the Leopardstown race, and he couldn't get away from them. He had every right to win that by 10 lengths, and he couldn't do it. The time was good 2 seconds slower than the juveniles took later on. Just given the way the race went, if he's a superstar, he should have shown it, and he didn't. Now, I know Paul Townend got off and said he wasn't right. Well, that's another reason not to. I don't want to back a horse that they don't think was right last time. So I'm against him. I'm definitely against him. I like that horse that won the other day, Soaring Glory. I think he's really good. I know the weights and Trensbors won't have it because he's won a handicap. I just thought he was a proper race, running a really good time. He jumped well, travelled well, and finished. You don't
win those sort of kind of Betfair hurdles, do you? You know, it's rock solid form.
Exactly, and I think he was the best bumper horse in Britain last year. The only time he's got beaten is in heavy ground. Right, what we got here?
When it comes to shocking results for Coral, what have been the closest shaves? That is definitely Annie Power. In 2015, I think it would have been the same for every bookmaker, wouldn't it, that day? It's interesting because the figure that was bandied around about the liability on Annie Power was 50 million for the industry. And some of these PR quotes can be a little bit fruity, to be honest. But I think actually that one was possibly a little bit understated, because I know what our number was running onto Annie Power, and I suspect there were a couple of other firms that had it for a lot more, because I remember Ladbrokes had gone kind of gung-ho that day and gone top price all of them in the morning. So I'd imagine they had a very tasty number. And no one knows, do they? Because unless you ring up everyone and get a figure which no one's giving you, then you don't know. But I suspect it was more than 50 million. But it's one of those races you watch, you know, we're desperate for a result, but you look at it and think, where are we going to get a result? We're not going to get a result here. All the way round, she's going to win the race up until that final hurdle, and she's just jumped. She's taken off her stride too soon, basically. And it's bizarre because, you know, there's an unwritten rule in our trading room. No one ever cheers. You never cheer a faller. Doesn't matter how much you need the horse beaten. No one would ever cheer it. So it was probably the same reaction that everyone had, which was just, oh my God, you know, a massive intake of breath. And my first reaction when she went down was, she's injured. It's amazing how many thoughts go through your head in about half a second. But I thought, this is a disaster. She's badly injured here. But then she's got up. It looked a nasty fall, didn't it? And it was just a complete blur. And after the race, I couldn't even tell you who won the race. You know, it was just like, what the hell's just happened there?
Willie Mullins.
Yeah, and then you look at it and it's like, Willie Mullins has won it, which just sums it up really, doesn't it? That he's had the hard luck story of all time happen and he still wins the race. But no, that was a massive escape. And to be honest, you look at this year and the Wednesday has got a very similar look to it. 4 Mullins favourites, similar sort of prices. So,
what have been your most memorable day of the race price-wise tipping successes at the festival?
There we go.
Blimey.
Here comes the after timing.
God, day of the race ones. There's been a few years back. Alpha Off and Captain Chris won the first 2 races.
Oh yeah.
And I was on them both at big prices. And it just it was one of those feelings, you know, sort of a Denman feeling.
Yeah, you can have a deep breath after that.
Exactly, and it just takes, you know, because in those days I was sort of learning my way and sort of just starting in price-wise, and it sort of is a big thing. It is a serious pressure. I wasn't sleeping that well before in the run-up to it. I had a few, you know, good Imperial Commander was one of my best One of the ones I enjoyed most, simply because I'm a bit contrary, and it was Denman Corto that year. Imperial Commander, who was just a favourite of mine, came and beat them both.
Yeah.
You know, so that was another good one on the day one. There's been a few over the years, but the Alpha off Captain Chris one sort of just from a personal point of view, it just sort of, as you say, it's
a bit like as a punter, isn't it? If you can back the first couple of winners at Cheltenham, it's like brilliant.
Always
like,
I prefer backing the last one, because then you can't give it all back. But.
For my favourite race, it would definitely be Denman, which was when he won his Gold Cup.
I think I'm still ringing in my ears because I sat next to you while you were cheering at home. I still haven't got over it.
As they turn for home.
Near the end, the camera sort of zooms round with Denman around that final bend, and he was still absolutely powering away at that point. And there was that moment where he kind of drifted right, and I thought,
Getting a little weary on the run-in.
for like half a second, this could be the worst moment in the history of horse racing coming up
nightmare,
here. If he'd fallen in the hole, but he's plugged on. And it was just a remarkable performance. And probably, I mean, it was a good ride, but I do sort of wonder whether they almost asked too much of Denman in that, because over the last, he was knackered, wasn't he?
Here, because this colossus of a horse, Denman, has powered to victory in this goal.
Who excites you most for this year's festival, James? Come on. Which one have you backed? Which one do you personally want to win the most?
I've just taken the view that I want to wait for the day, wait for the week now. I don't get stuck into the detail of all the handicaps until I like to have a fresh look a few days before.
Totally agree with that.
So many years I've wasted a lot of time going through like 1,000 handicap entries, finding one at sort of 16 to 1 that I think should be 8 to 1. And then it goes 8 to 1, you think, oh, that's brilliant, I've got a really good bet. And then on the day it's sort of out to 12 because it's actually quite a good race and it's on different ground. And you sort of think,
why did I bother?
Why did I bother? And I'm really looking forward to Envoy Allen from a kind of fan and bookmaker perspective, because to me, every time that horse runs, I think he looks about 2 prices too short. I know it's a funny thing to say about the horse, given that he's won every single race he's ever contested. But he just looks like he's carrying around this reputation with him. I think the thing about Envoy Allen is he's just better than all the horses he's run against so far, but we don't know. Is he actually?
Good luck with that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's going to win?
Well, I just think that he's not going to have anything to beat,
Yeah,
because I think they're going to all fall by the wayside. I think the difference between him and Shiskin is that Shiskin's got a really good horse to beat.
Yes.
And Monkfish Monkfish and Envoy Allen might not, because they'll scare everything away. So while I don't know, like you, how good he is, I'm not sure. I still think he'll probably be better than the ones he races against.
He might be. I think the time to get him is probably the first time he runs against one of those really good horses.
When he runs in the Gold Cup next year.
First number 3, Envoy Allen.
Well, James, thanks for coming. It's been a cold one, but it's been a long one. It's been a good one. You enjoyed it?
It's been tremendous fun going back over all those memories. Never know you tip so many winners.
I haven't. I made them up. Bad luck next week, hopefully.
Thank you, and same to you. I hope you tip 0 winners. And yeah, best of luck to Willie Mullins. I hope he trains. We'll let him have 1 or 2, but
20.
As long as it's not 20.
Yeah.
And Fuli, Florida Pearl just inching his way forward.